I'm Matt.
I'm Ryan.
I'm Vince.
Yeah. Welcome, and thanks for joining us for another episode of Korracast. If you haven't noticed, we're almost at 1,000 subscribers. We have less than 100 to go before we do the official prize giveaway. So if you haven't clicked subscribe yet, go ahead and do that now. So what do you think, guys? You ready to do this episode?
Let's do it.
All right, let's go.
In the fourth episode of Legend of Korra, The Voice in the Night, Korra is recruited to join Councilman Tarlok's task force, whose goal is to rid Republic City of Equalists. Meanwhile, Mako meets a woman named Asami, who invites him to dinner after accidentally hitting him with her moped. After learning of the Fire Ferret's financial troubles, Asami's father, the inventor of the Cytomobiles, agrees to sponsor them for the upcoming championship tournament. Later that night, Korra and the rest of the task force infiltrate an Equalist training site and arrest them. Afterwards, Korra challenges Amon to a duel on Avatar Aang Memorial Island. While waiting for Amon to show up, Korra is captured by his henchmen and rendered defenseless. Amon approaches Korra and states that he could take her bending away right now if he wanted to, but explains he has other plans and wants to save her for last. He knocks her out, and Tenzin later discovers Korra lying on the floor. Finally admitting to her fear of Amon, she breaks down and cries in Tenzin's arms.
What do we think of this episode?
I liked it for the most part. I mean, it was a step down from episode 3, but this one was more focused on the characters.
And I felt like it was a lot of nothing, and then at the end, more nothing.
Okay.
Not necessarily in a bad way. I still liked the episode a lot. You know, they left us on such a big cliffhanger from the last episode.
I feel like they're playing chess with the show. They're putting their pieces up. But yeah, I actually kind of like that this episode was a little bit of a breather, though. I would have liked, since they started that storyline, to kind of maybe give us more of it, but I also did like that we got a chance to get to know the characters more, and they introduced 2 new characters in the show.
3, really.
3. Let's talk a little bit about Asami Sato.
I actually really like her. I think she's a really fun, interesting character.
I feel like she came on a little too fast with Mako. Like, it felt like they were trying to push this romance on us too quickly.
I actually agree with you, and I don't know if it's because they're trying to progress the plot faster, or does she have ulterior motives? Maybe it's a whole, like, beautiful woman comes out of nowhere, go on a date with me, I'll buy your clothes and dinner. Like,
it does seem a little too good to be true.
Maybe it's just who I am. Maybe that's what I would think if I were in that situation.
It seems like the purpose of her right now is just to make Korra jealous.
At the moment, she exists just to throw a wrench and make Korra. But I'm actually more interested in her dad, Hiroshi Sato.
Uh-huh.
I'm getting a big Henry Ford Model T vibe out of this.
No, definitely, and it seems like he wants him to wear his logo on his uniform.
Have we seen corporate sponsorship or anything like that in this universe yet?
This show is a completely different take on it.
I love that scene where she goes to bring Mako to meet her dad, and he's giving the speech about, like, when I was young, I had a wealthy billionaire sponsor me. Mako's going, oh man, this guy's gonna give me the money. And he's just sitting there like, okay, alright, how am I gonna act surprised when he says something?
I wish they'd actually gone into his head and just said that.
The other main character we got is, Turok? Tarlok. Warlock.
Gengar. Councilman Gengar.
So Councilman Gengar, he really wants to get rid of this Amon problem.
You know, he's a council member, he obviously has to run for election, so he wants to be seen as tough on crime.
Why isn't the police force involved in this task force?
Well, right, that's a good question about what this task force exactly is.
What I want to know is how unlawful are the rebellion acting?
It seems like the Chi Rockers are being denied the right to assemble, which, you know, according to our constitution is the First Amendment. But for them, they're just busted in on, and no one raises an eyebrow as to the legality of it.
Right, it's just like, hey guys, how you doing? Wanna come in here? We're gonna do some reps, and oh, it's Korra! Oh, go!
They're suppressing these people that are just learning how to defend themselves. What's so wrong in that?
This show is making me question what I believe.
It's forcing me to think outside of where I normally think.
That is not what I do.
The overall impression from this particular episode was suspense. I actually, when she's waiting on Avatar Aang Memorial Island, I actually felt suspense. I felt tension and a little bit of fear. Like, probably the same fear that she was feeling.
I personally didn't, because I actually didn't think that Amon was going to show up at all.
That would have been a terrible way to end the episode. She's just waiting there, and nothing happens, and then the episode ends.
Why'd he let her go?
Whenever a villain captures the good guy, they're like, I could destroy you right now, but I'm gonna wait because of some convenient thing I'm gonna throw in later that's gonna fail, and then I'll lose when I had the chance to defeat you.
Has Amon has he never read a comic book?
I don't think so.
Is he aware that he's in one right now?
Right. At least he didn't spend too much time monologuing.
But yeah, he gives some excuse as to why, his master plan, and he doesn't want to make her into a martyr.
Because, he doesn't want to make the cause against him any stronger.
I don't really think that taking Korra's bending away will actually turn her into a martyr, because it's already been established that Republic City does not really need an avatar.
But now the question is what he's planning to do going to be greater?
Right.
It's like you're playing a game of chess, and if you have a chance to take out your opponent's queen without really any losses, you're gonna do it.
Whenever I see that in fiction, there's always gonna be that voice in the back of my head that goes, come on, really?
Yeah. It's like, okay, I'm willing to believe that you do have a better plan, but it really better be better, because you just missed taking out their queen.
Hopefully whatever he has in store just blows our mind apart entirely,
Yeah.
and that'll make up for it. And then something crazy happens at the end of that conversation.
Korra gets punched in the face or something, gets knocked out by Amon.
Something.
And then there's these really, really quick flashes that have Sokka, Toph, Aang, and then some other random character. They're all adults, and they're sitting in some council area, and then Aang flips out and starts airbending. And that's it.
The most important thing that we got out of that is it finally answered the question that we've been asking ourselves from the beginning. Aang had facial hair.
Where does all this stuff fit in to the last episode?
Right, that's a good point, because that's sort of my biggest problem with this episode. I can't feel how what its rhythm is with the rest of the show as a whole, because, vacuum test on the show, what happens?
I feel like none of these characters are taking Amon seriously. Mako and Bolin especially. They're just walking around the city like they didn't just see a bunch of benders lose their bending. Why? Are they...
Well, because for me, they have no duty to face Amon. Like, if we take, our counterparts in the past series, they have a duty to fulfill their destiny, to defeat the bad guy. For Mako and Bolin, they're just citizens. There is a police force that's their job. They have an avatar. That's her job. You know what I mean? And I sort of feel one of the reasons that Korra is so fearful in this episode is it feels like she is facing this danger on her own. And she, in a lot of ways, is in over her head.
And not only is she facing a threat that is way beyond what she's capable of, we're also seeing that, going back to the Korra, they're starting to break that down too. And right now it looks like we're knocking her down so that they can rebuild her. That's what I think.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Why do we fall, Bruce?
So we learn to pick ourselves back up again. So I was thinking during that flashback sequence, it might have been like a trial, and Toph was gonna execute him, and then Aang rushed in there to stop it.
Well, it's interesting because if, as Republic City was being built and their lives were continuing on, was there bad blood that stirred between the gangs? So between the Avatar and the Beifong family?
Right, and that might explain why Lin didn't like Korra at first meeting.
Those are good theories. And that brings us to our viewer response for this week. We want to know what you guys think happened during that flashback. Leave your guys' most interesting or creative theories as to what was going on in that scene, and the best ones we're going to feature in the next episode.
Alright, now let's take a look at some of your responses from last week.
Option XX1 wrote, "Bending is like breathing for Korra. It requires no thinking or effort to her. Due to this, she uses her bending brashly and does not truly embrace her bending powers. By taking away her bending, she is forced to be more humble and to focus on the spiritual aspect of bending. In Kung Fu Panda terms, she needs to find her inner peace before she can restore peace to the city." I Love Daisuke and Dark 13 wrote, "I honestly believe that Bolin will lose his bending, not because he came close in this episode, but because he takes his bending for granted and really only knows how to fight pro-bending style." M. Ring Walters wrote, "I think it would be very bold to have it happen to Tenzin or one of his children, to raise a threat against a dying race. I think Korra might have her powers taken, but either not all at once, or not for very long. They've introduced a great, strong, and powerful character. It would be tedious to watch her frustration in trying to learn it all again, and also sad." Lapin Angelique 00 wrote, "Hearing you mention people losing their livelihood when they lose their bending, I can't help but think that Mako will be the one to lose his bending. From what we've learned on his current life and his past, his bending is one of the most vital aspects of his life. Without firebending, he has no work, and he cannot protect his brother. Of all the main characters in the show, I really think he would lose his bending. It'd create some amazing plot development." See the Lark Scene wrote, What if Tenzin lost his bending? It could lead to Korra maybe going outside of Republic City, leading to a gathering of benders who want to go against Amon. She'd then be able to lead an uprising against the Equalists. Zerika Erica wrote, I think Korra will lose her bending at the end of this season and then have to get it back in season 2. I think that would be a good choice since Korra clearly only understands the bending side of being the Avatar. It would be interesting to see her deal without it. Moonlit X Dream wrote, Lin Beifong losing her bending would be interesting to see. Could the police force function without a metal bender as its leader? Or would she give up the reins to someone else?
I'm telling you, man, though, Asami, I'm feeling she's a good-looking female.
She's a cartoon female.
Female?
An animated
She's
girl.
Good-looking
Okay.
female nonetheless.
Sure.
Okay, guys, let's stop this for a second. Let's cut it. I gotta use the bathroom.
Oh, okay. Yeah, alright, cut
Okay,
it.
sure, fine.
Yeah,
We're going with that.
I don't, yeah.
I think I was going to be able to use
Yeah,
that.
that's kind of weird, but... Fizz, that's not a toilet!